This week's episode of the Inside Running Podcast is proudly sponsored by ASICS. Energise your runs with their Superblast shoe, stacked with the bounciest, lightest FF Blast turbo foam technology for a supercharged ride. Visit asics.com.au or your specialty running retail store to grab your pair today. Enjoy the episode.
Being a skin can bring us so much pain. Now I hear you say you got the best of both ways. Won't you come and take a walk in my shoes and tell me if you take my place? Undercover of my skin, I've heard all your names. If it's all the same, I'll keep on walking.
Welcome to episode number 284 of the Inside Running Podcast. Thank you for joining us for another week. Happy Easter. Recording this on Easter Monday, April the 10th. Welcome to my co-host, Julian Spence, down at the Surf Coast. Moose, how you going this week? Happy Easter to you.
Yeah, good, mate. We're down with the crowds down here. Bells Beach, Easter Classic, or whatever they call it, Rip Curl Pro. Brad's pretty interested in it.
He was last week, wasn't he, when you mentioned it? His ears really perked up.
Hasn't really talked about surfing ever before until now.
Yeah, is that a thing? Is it on this time of the year every year?
Every year, yeah.
Okay, yeah, it's a real Easter thing. That's good. How you going down there? All right?
Yeah, fine.
Good. Staying warm?
Still got a bit of a cold. That's probably the main, hindrance to my training at the moment. For some reason, can't get rid of it.
Can't shake it.
Yeah.
Bradley Croker, welcome to you this week. I think you've been at the big birthday celebrations all Easter weekend.
Yeah, I've been down the coast, got back today, so yeah, it was nice to get down there because it's been a while since I've been back around Bateman's Bay. Lovely running down there.
How was Hannah's 70th? 60th?
70th.
70th, yep.
Yeah, it was good. Yeah, we had the whole family down there, so it was a fun weekend.
That's good. Some good running from you two boys as well over the last 7 days. Looking at Strava during the week. Who wants to recap first? Moose?
You can go,
Croaks?
Moose.
What do you reckon?
Croaks can go first. He never goes first.
Yeah, you can go first, mate.
All right, I'll go
I reckon
first.
you're nearly the fittest on the show at the moment.
I had a good week. I've definitely
smacking stuff.
Definitely turned the corner, which, I think it's a combination of things. One, I've strung together now, other than getting sick, I've strung together a consistent probably 8-9 weeks. But the last 2 to 3 weeks, I've been focusing a bit more on doing 2 home gym sessions a week, doing strides a couple of times a week. So all those sort of 1%ers plus trying to then just increase my mileage a little bit. So I'm not sure which thing has helped me, but probably just a combination of all of those. So anyway, my week started Monday afternoon, went out, put the ASICS Superblast on for the first time. Did an hour around Mulligan's, loved it, felt super cruisy running 4:19s. I then changed into my Endorphin Pros version 1 and just did 5 sort of 100-metre strides on the road. Then Tuesday morning, jumped on the treadmill. Haven't done many runs on the treadmill since I last got injured. So I put it on 12k an hour and just ran for 35 minutes. Started the Rich Roll interview with the coach of Christian Blumenthal, that guy. What's his name? Do you know his name?
No, but I heard him talking about it on the Coffee Club.
I think. Yeah. So anyway, I started listening to that, and I might jump on the treadmill tomorrow morning and continue on that.
Takeaways?
I only got 30 minutes in, so not a lot yet. Not a lot because the first 30 minutes there was probably 15 minutes worth of ads.
Yeah, he puts them in all throughout it, doesn't he?
Yeah, there was quite a lot of ads in the first 30 minutes. So I'll report back next week.
Do you pay a service to get no ads?
Well, I was just listening to it on Spotify.
I don't think you can with Rich Roll.
Oh, right.
They just appear. Yeah. Imagine how much he charges for ads.
Yeah.
That's why he's got so many in there.
So anyway, that was Tuesday morning. Tuesday afternoon, headed out to Parliament House because daylight saving has ended and we warm up at 5:30. We need to now try and find training locations that are reasonably well lit. So there's a hill that runs from Old Parliament House to New Parliament House, and anybody that's run like the Canberra Running Festival, all the events run up that hill. It's not super steep, like it's probably only 3%, so probably like lower grade than I would normally run for hills, but it's well lit. So the session was 2 sets of 7, about 45-second hills. We're doing them on a 2-minute cycle, and after we've done 7 of them, we had 3 minutes, like sort of walk, jog, whatever you needed to do, recovery. Felt pretty good on this. I think the fact that the road surface is really good, the gradient's not too steep, you could actually still run like pretty quick. Like I was running, close to 3-minute Ks for these, 40-odd second reps. And there was just enough gradient there to feel like you were sort of getting some sort of extra benefit or activation. And then cooled down, came back, and we recorded that Tuesday night.
That's the hill at the start of the race, Croaks.
Yeah, runs up. Yeah, so it's not super steep. Like it's pretty.
Steep enough.
It's a nice gradient. It's just it's real runnable. Wednesday morning went out for my midweek long run, 90 minutes, 4:13s. Listened to Road to London episode 7. Then Thursday morning, so I've been trying to do a few more like runs before work. One because I mentioned it the other week. If I run long before work, if I get home and I've had a shit day, I can either not run, or if I feel good, I just go out for an easy 30 minutes. So it gives me the option of potentially doing a double. So I just did a loop from home, 58 minutes, 4:22s. Then that afternoon, I went out to Mulligan's, and remember I was looking for a shoe that I could wear for 30 minutes and then do some strides. And so I had a pair of the old Nike Zoom Fly, the baby blue colour.
The first ones?
The first ones, yeah. So for context, like these came out, my first pair was like 2017. And so this was like the training shoe of the 4%. And I pretty much did my whole late B1 marathon prep in these shoes. And so I loved them at the time, like, because, they're quite stiff, had a really nice rocker to them, but there wasn't any like super foam to it. And I don't think there was even a plate in it.
Yeah, there was. It just wasn't a carbon plate.
Yeah.
Have you Zoom X2 in there, Moose?
No, it wasn't.
No Zoom X.
No.
And so what I think helped me here was like I did like all of my major sessions in this shoe, which wasn't so much of a super shoe. And then when you put the 4% on, I guess you had that extra benefit. Anyway, like I had a pair that I'd only done like 100K in them. So I thought, I might put them on. So, I did 30-odd minutes around Mulligan's at 4:16s, and then, did like 5 strides in them. And, really enjoyed it. Just took me back to 2017 and I actually put them on again tonight for the same run.
They were rock hard though, weren't they?
They're hard. Like even now, like they're hard, but I still like that rocker, and I still feel like I get a lot of pop from them because of the stiffness.
So rocketed. And that's, you can have firm shoes with a rocker, but because you're getting that roll forward, it doesn't feel like you're landing in a big stiff plank because you're always rolling forward.
Yeah. Like I would love for these to come back, because I reckon I would happily do a lot of sessions in this shoe and then save the super shoes. I'd still do obviously really long sessions in super shoes, but I still think there's a place for this type of shoe for a training shoe.
Well, they still exist. They're just quite a different type version of it now. Like they got a carbon plate in them now, and they're got a bit of Zoom X. But, no one's really loved them for a while. They got a bit clunky. They got a bit brick-like, like not quite rocket enough.
Yeah. Did you like this shoe, Moose?
I had my moments with this shoe. So I was like you, I jumped on because that released before the Vaporfly released, like the 4%.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, well, I'm going to jump on it. And I got off it pretty quick though, because it was a bit harsh for me. It was a bit unforgiving.
You ran an Albert Park 10K in it, I reckon, Moose.
Yeah, maybe I did.
I reckon there's a photo of me, you, Mattress, and Craig Appleby coming around the last corner together. You're wearing a pair.
Yeah, I reckon you're right about that. Yeah. I think it was before the actual 4% release.
Well, that would have been like the June, July before you ran the 4% in September at Berlin.
I think that's it. That's crazy. How do you remember that?
I just have a good memory with stuff like that. And number plates. I can remember number plates really well.
Jeez, how about Apples, me, you, all gone under 220? Mattress. No progression.
Yeah, he's done other good things in life, though.
Mattress is going back.
Where'd Apples break 220?
Oh, hasn't he? Has he not?
He's got definitely the potential to do so, but has he?
I thought maybe Tokyo. Did he not do it at Tokyo that day in the wet?
He definitely raced there. We had him on the show beforehand, but I don't think he did. I think that was a slower day because it was pretty wet.
Or something.
He's broken 14, hasn't he? He's run 14:12. Now 2:22:13 at Tokyo. Mattress is going to be happy with that news.
Yeah, good. All right, so Mattress and Apples haven't progressed.
So anyway, I think I'll keep, given how soft shoes are now, I'd struggle to do everything in this thing, but I'm definitely going to keep using it just for a 30-minute run and some strides, until they wear out. Then Friday morning, headed down to Lake Burley Griffin. We started a little bit later, given it was Good Friday. Absolutely pissing down rain, which having the group made it a lot easier to turn up for this session. And this one went really well. This is the best session I've done in months. So the session was 3 sets of 7.5 minutes tempo into 2.5 minutes pretty hard, and then a 2-minute jog. And so I wanted to sort of introduce some faster running. And so, over 34 minutes, I get basically 7.5 minutes of pretty hard running, a fair bit of tempo in there as well. So the tempo reps were 3:18, 3:18 and 3:15. And my hard 2-minute 30 segments were 2:59, 2:59 and 2:57. And my jogs were at 4:30. So average 3:19s for the 10.27K. And I was encouraged by, one, how it felt, but two, my heart rate. I only averaged 160 for the whole session, and barely got above 170, even on the hard bit. So, I was really, really encouraged by that. We then headed down the coast. I was going to go for a double that afternoon, but started pissing down rain and thunder and lightning, and I thought I was already on track for a pretty big week mileage-wise, so decided to not run. Then the next morning, went out to River Road. So this is a fire road or fire trail that follows the Clyde River out towards Shallow Crossing. It's quite undulating, but really runnable. So I did 70 minutes at 4:12s that afternoon. I went on the same road, except I drove 2 kilometres further in, because the first 2 kilometres of this run, you've got a kilometre uphill and then a kilometre downhill. So I took that bit out, make it a little bit flatter. 32 minutes, 4:09s. And then on Sunday, same road again, met Matt Johnson. He was only doing 90 minutes. So I did 90 minutes with him, and then just went out and back again for another sort of 35 minutes. So I did just over 30K at 4:08. So, it was a good week for me. For me, 152.9K with 1,600 meters of elevation. So, body's feeling good. I feel pretty strong running at the moment, which, as I said before, I don't know if it's a combination, obviously, of consistency, increased mileage, maybe doing some more just home gym stuff where I feel like I've just got a little bit more hip stability when I run. So I feel like I'm getting a bit more power with every stride, and my hips are just in a good spot when I run. So just need to not get too greedy now.
It's a good week, Crows. Good workout. It's a good sign when you can roll 2.5 minutes at that pace off, good pace as it is.
Yeah, his hips are in a good spot, Brady.
Yeah.
Hips, yeah. So
good spot.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. it's still hard, but it's meant to be hard. Like it's 2.5 minutes at the end of a 10-minute rep, and then I had 2 minutes to recover. So
2.5 minutes is still significant though. Like you can kind of wing a minute or 90 seconds, but like you nearly run a K there.
Yeah, but I guess the key for this session is you can't cook the tempos. Like you can do this when the tempos are controlled, which they obviously were.
Yeah, that's good. Remind me, I asked you last week, but I'll ask you again. How many weeks until Sydney 10?
I think it's
3 yesterday.
I think it's 4 weeks yesterday.
Well, we're going to see a sub 30 from the big fella Moose.
No, I don't know about that.
I reckon we are for that session.
I don't know about that either. I mean, that's a pretty fast
get
run.
excited.
I'm excited for him, but you know how hard it is to run sub 30.
I would take similar to last year, like, that 30-30. I think for me, like anything under 31, I'd still be really happy with. I think that's like good running.
Legit course this year too. Add 20 seconds.
Yeah, so there you go. So add 20 seconds to last year, and that's 30-45. But the difference is I'm going to do a 5K, just a time trial at Lake Burley Griffin, probably 2 weeks out, which is what I didn't do last time around. So I'm hoping that harder effort will sort of just bring the fitness up a little bit, like 2 weeks out.
Just by yourself?
I might get somebody on the bike or something. Yeah.
You need something there, I reckon. Just some kind of like something to keep you accountable. A wheel to follow. Why don't you go smack a park run? Get the atmosphere.
I would much prefer a solo time trial at Lake Burley than running around Yerriby Pond because it'd just be fast. It's like you can get into more of a rhythm running along Lake Burley than you can around Yerriby Pond.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Oh, good. It's good to hear. And Slavi's just got back rolling, so he just pulls out a pair of 2017 shoes, Moose. Just has a few Ks in those. Look like.
Well, that's when I was running my best, 2017, 2018. Why not?
Yeah, they look like they're buggered in that photo, though.
Porter.
100K. That's only done 100.
They don't look great for 100K.
But those shoes always look that way. Remember
how compressed they are. Yeah.
Yeah. No, the foam always had creases in it early.
No, that's the Vaporfly. A different foam.
Have you seen this photo, Moose, on his Strava?
No, I haven't.
6th of April. 6th of April. It doesn't look like it's got 100Ks in it.
Oh, sorry, they've done 100. Sorry, 189.
Oh, you don't round 189 down to 100.
Well, they would have done take 16.
Did you do the whole
jog?
They've
done 16 since then.
Oh yeah, they're jogging.
The whole 30 minutes.
Yeah, I keep thinking they're a Vaporfly, the same colourway.
Nah, it's the training shoe.
I just typed in Brad Corker, and your name is still the first at the top of the list. Oh yeah, look at them. They're more than 200K.
189, and that was.
I reckon you've forgotten a few.
I'm pretty good on the shoe logging.
I'll zoom in a bit. Oh. Yeah, no, this.
You are good at the shoe logging. There's like 30 pairs of shoes here. You can really tell which one he's a fan of as well. Like some we've been given for the show, and there's not a lot of Ks in them, but you can tell you've just tested them out.
Yeah.
Moose, what have you been doing?
I'm just looking through his shoes.
Yeah.
There's some depressing stuff on there, though.
I can't believe you put so many in Croaks.
What's the point? Just get rid of them.
Never seen. I've just got the one pair. It says I've done like 10,000 Ks in them.
There's some stuff you'll never wear again.
On that list.
Yeah.
He doesn't want to say it much. He's gone quiet.
Carry on. Tell us what you've been doing, Bruce.
Well, yeah, I didn't run it. I ran 113K. I thought I'd get more, but I don't know. I'm getting to the end of the weeks now, and whatever pops up, pops up. I'm not sort of aiming for anything. 113 is a bit less than the last couple of weeks. So Brady, you got your down week from me, so now I get to build.
Good. Yep.
You were worried about that. I could tell.
I was concerned. I was concerned about something else the other day. Carly pulled me up on it. She said you said something to Moose, and I reckon he respected you for once. What was it? Oh, when I said, remember when you were talking about how Ali made you do the cool down, and I was like, you got to be the bigger person. And don't get sucked into that. You're the coach, she's the athlete. She's like, yeah, I think Moose took that, and I reckon he liked that. A bit of advice from you.
For once, she said, respected you for once.
Yeah, I think most of the things I say just go straight over your head. Different IQ levels.
That's a bit harsh.
That one hit it.
So. I actually I like listening to you. I don't rate both you boys.
Oh, we wouldn't still be here after 283 episodes, would we? Otherwise?
Yeah. I mean, I don't rate your shoe chat. That is absolute
Yeah,
trash.
we got in trouble for that last week.
Yeah, terrible stuff from
Yeah,
me.
you're not allowed to say sexy shoes ever again, Brady.
Being banned from that term.
Actually, while we're on shoes, my first run for the week. So the Nike Invincible 3, the Zoom X, I've loved the first version. Never actually wore the second version, and I thought, I'll get the third now that I'm doing a few slower, easier doubles. So from the moment I put this on, even in the store, I thought, I'm not going to get along with this shoe. Yet something pushed me to get it. Because I had such fond memories of the first version, I thought, maybe I'll grow to love it, or maybe my foot will find a place in here. And as I was leaving the store, I'd put it on to walk around, just to start to get the lacing right. Walk around the store for a bit, and then I walked out to the car with Jazz and Jimmy after we'd knocked off for the day. And both of them looked down, saw my right foot just totally collapsing off the inside of the shoe. And I could see it, I could feel it. And they're like, what are you doing in that shoe? It's just terrible for you. And I thought, oh, well, yeah, maybe running's different to walking, because it is a different gait pattern. And so I didn't run in it for probably 5 days or something. And then it was sitting there staring at me. So I went out on Monday morning and ran just half an hour in it. And I was actually about to run further, but I called this run a bit early just because my tib post started to get really sore. And this was 100% because of the shoe. So some people out there, they'll say shoes can't prevent injuries as such, but certain shoes combined with certain biomechanics can definitely cause injury, and it can for me. Now, this was only half an hour, so I didn't cross the threshold where an injury sort of developed, but I could definitely tell one was coming on. So yeah, so that'll find a home somewhere. I've got a few mates that are size 11 or 11 and a half, and they don't really care. They'll squeeze into anything. So that was a no good for me. Do you boys have that shoe?
No, I don't. Same thing. I've worn the 1 and the 2, and I was thinking I'd purchase the 3 because I've had good experiences in the 1 or the 2, and just haven't been up to date with a purchase recently. And the more I'm hearing the stories, it's a bit of that love or hate, because I've heard some really good reviews, but I've heard some shockers as well. So they changed a lot, obviously.
And foam's the same, different fit.
But going from the 1 to the 2 felt pretty. I know you said you haven't worn the 2, but it was almost like the same shoe.
Yeah, it was. It was different. That was just a different upper. This one's a different midsole geometry as well.
Okay.
I did. Croaks, you wore that. Have you got on with yours?
I've never worn a pair of Invincibles, 1, 2, or 3.
Don't they have them at the factory outlet up there, Croaks?
No, they do, but I've never been, because I've heard sort of mixed reports. And
I don't reckon you like them. I reckon you like the hard shit. You like old school type shoes.
Yeah, I am old school.
Yeah.
But he likes a Superblast, which we'll talk about later, and that's similar vibes.
Yeah, well, that's a much better version, I reckon.
I reckon from what I've heard, the Invincible would probably flare up my tib post a bit, because I do get some tib post issues.
Yeah.
So I think I'd need something a bit more stable.
Well, this is as bad as it gets for me.
You can get sloppy in the Invincible. When you've done too many Ks in it too, you know when to retire them pretty easy.
Yeah, but I got away in version 1, no probs. But this is different beast. Anyway, I've been jogging on the treadies in the Arvo mainly because I think it's better for my body. My knee feels better, and also my I had this tib post thing going on. So yeah, I just wanted to stay flat. So yeah, just did 40 minutes on there. So that's what, 14 a bit K. Just 1 sec, sorry.
Oh, we're lost in Croaks.
Found a better offer.
Take a guess. What do you reckon he's doing?
Sorry, no, it started pissing down. The dog's in. Dog's in now.
I knew it was going to be dog.
Yeah, is that what you were going to guess?
So 70 minutes is so much more safe breaking it into 2 runs versus doing 70 straight for me. So that's what I'm going with.
Do you get the same fitness gains though?
Perhaps not. However, it's still the volume and it's still safer.
Safety, yeah.
And it's still a recovery day for you.
Yeah. Eventually you do 70 and 30, or you do 70 and 40, but not right now. Maybe never again. I don't know. But that's the ultimate goal, is to get back to that sort of mileage. An hour on Tuesday, seemed to get going a bit that day. That's not bad, actually. 4:16s. Really rolling. Wednesday, again, just an hour. I went through the hills on this day, over the back, past the coal mine, and up. Did a workout. Oh, boy, this was rough. So I haven't done anything that fast in a while. I've done a lot of threshold work, and I've done a lot of, like, grey zone stuff, maybe whatever you call it, zone 2, marathon pace, or a bit slower workout. So I wasn't really knowing what I was in for here. So I was going to do 8 by 3 minutes with a minute jog. And I had the pace in my mind that I had was 3:05 to 3:10. And that seemed reasonable to me. Like, that's not shooting for the moon or anything. Like, I probably could have done that faster if I went to the track. And I know I got a bit of a cold, so I didn't want to cook myself. I put on this shoe, on Boom Echo 3, which is the shoe they released later in the year. It's like a super shoe. It's their version of the super shoe. So I had that on for the first time. So I was sort of testing that out. The workout did not go as planned. So first rep is along this dirt road. It climbs at the very end. I didn't quite get to the hill, so it was pretty flat. And I ran 3:07, and I was working to get to that pace. Like, mechanically, that was a challenge to reach that pace. And so at the time, I wrote it off as the first rep's always hard. And I remember thinking, they'll get easier after that. So then just a minute jog. Second rep was 3:06. Now, I fucked this. This is rookie mistakes. Like, how long have we been running? We will still make rookie errors. So go up a hill, run 3:06 for the 3 minutes. So it's 2:59 split for the gap pace. This is where I needed to be smarter, because I kind of cooked myself on that one. I needed longer rest if I'm going to run that type of effort. Third rep was downhill, 3:04. Thought, okay, I'm all right here. I sort of got heart rate under control a little bit, and then turned around, ran back uphill, ran 3:08 with a gap of 3:04. By this stage, I knew the workout was fucked. So I'm like, how can I salvage it? Because the last 2 minutes of this rep, I was working way too hard for what I needed to do. So I thought, all right, I'm going to do I want to get the pace in. So in order for me to do, I had two choices open to me in my mind at that time. I could continue doing 8 by 3 minutes, but in order for the effort to be right, I needed to slow right down to like 3:15 or 3:20 pace, because I was flogging myself. Or I could reduce the length of the rep and continue to run the pace that I had started out at, which in my mind was what I wanted from the workout. So I cut the workout back to 2-minute reps instead of 3, and the next rep was 3:01. And that extra minute at the end, that's what does the damage, because 2-minute reps were right. They were spot on for me. So I was finishing the reps. They were pretty hard. I was like walking in between them, no jogging, and I was recovering okay, where I could do another 3:01 the next rep. But I know that if these were 3-minute reps, I wouldn't have been able to finish them at that pace, no way. So I went 3:01, 3:01, 3:03, 3 minutes. So I was able to continue the workout as I kind of wanted it to, almost progress the pace slightly, but with less volume. So I came away from it and I thought, all right, not what you wanted, but you managed to salvage it okay. And I reckon if I didn't put up supposed to be 8 by 3 minutes and I just wrote 4 by 3, 4 by 2, then it actually looks like an okay workout.
Oh, it's funny you say that, because you told us, we were talking about it during the day, how you had a shit workout, and I looked at it before you labelled it, and I went in and looked at your splits, and I was like, oh, this is good. It's a good pace here. I don't know what he's talking about.
Yeah, this is Strava, right?
Yeah.
This is the facade of Strava, and this is why online coaching is really difficult, because I was thinking that if someone was coaching me and they looked at this workout, they would go, "Oh, good workout, well done." Like heart rate was really, like, I guess at the very peak wasn't that bad, because 2 minutes isn't high enough to fully spike it where you get in real trouble. And so you couldn't really tell from that. The paces weren't blowing up in each rep. So you couldn't tell there. But if you watched me running, my form went to shit. I was coughing, spluttering. I was hands on knees at the end of the 3 minute reps. I was having a terrible time. Like, it was a bad workout. But on Strava, looks okay. And I reckon it's good to recognize the difference between how you execute workouts, especially when you get into the marathon sessions, because we all know there's two very different ways of running a 16K tempo, how you're supposed to. But yeah, that was the workout. Shoes they'll be good for the track. The shoes are firm. You'll love these, Croker. They're like wearing an old Nike Streak or something. Not very soft at all. They feel like very snappy underfoot, like really good response time, but not soft like normal racing shoes these days.
You're building a castle with blocks in the background there, Moose.
I told you the dog. Shoe boxes, Croaks. Shoe boxes are getting stacked up.
Sorry, playing with fucking antler.
Playing with what?
Like an antler.
What, from like a moose or something?
Like a deer.
He's playing with Moose's antler.
What have you got? Just one of those sitting around your lounge room?
You can buy them from pet stores. They got heaps of them.
Oh, geez, this is why we have our cameras off.
Yeah, so I was pretty fucked up the rest of that day. So next morning I ran. It was Easter that next morning, so it was Friday. So 7K in the morning, and then ran in the afternoon. 8K out along this ridge trail, Point Addis, pretty awesome spot actually. So that was 40 minutes or so. Then next day, big hill loop around town, 1 hour, and Sunday long run. So did 10K initially. Ran with Dave McNeil. He was down on the coast, and he came for part of the long run. So he was a good chat. And then we got into the workout. So Ali had her workout, and yeah, it was like, hold on, sorry, let me fucking sort this.
You did 10K Croaks, and then 5K a bit faster. Or 10K warm up, 10K, that wouldn't be Ali's pace, that'd be 95% of Ali's pace. 5K at Ali's pace, that's my guess.
Well, he just basically did what Ali was doing.
Yeah. Is that what you reckon the zones are? 95% 10K and then 100% for 5K?
Yeah, that's what I reckon. So for him it was like a 25K day plus the 3K cool down, 28K. 28K.
The big fella would have had this nailed.
All right, sorry, I'm back now.
Oh, we just recapped it for you. So you did 10K warm up with Dave McNeil, then you did 10K at 95% Ali's marathon pace and 5K at 100% Ali's marathon pace. 3K cool down.
Well, we don't know what Ali's we don't know what Ali's marathon pace is because she hasn't run it yet.
Around that though, is that a good prediction? That's what we thought it was while you were gone.
Yeah, I reckon. So it was sort of, I reckon, just on the comfortable side of marathon pace, and then 5K quicker. So yeah, we ran out and back on a pretty good road actually, and Sunday morning, not much traffic, beautiful road. Can be a real shit fight, this road, but yeah, it was pretty comfy. So she wasn't feeling great. She got it done really well, though. I thought this workout went like really well, 52 minutes total. So it's a decent amount of time. She got moving at the end. We worked it so that the 5K, it was out and back, but the last 5K was semi-downhill, and we had a bit of a tailwind at the end as well. So it worked out well for her there. And then we just jogged a couple of K to cool down. So 113 all up.
Good weight, there's some quality in there.
Hey, Moose, question. Do you reckon once, like, now that Ellie's pretty much finished her marathon prep, like, will it be better for you not having to do Sundays, like a Sunday session? Like, your training will be better now?
I think it will, yeah. I enjoy these Sunday workouts. They make Sundays go so quick. And it's fun doing workouts that are long. Like, I do enjoy that, but I don't think it's great for my training right now. I'll probably move back to running Tuesday morning workouts with the group, and then Friday thresholds by myself, and then Sunday with the group. And we got cross country coming up, so there's going to be races every sort of second or third week. So the weeks will be chopped in and out, and I'm looking forward to it. It'll prepare me really well for the Berlin build.
Yeah.
That'd be good. I'm going to whistle through this, fellas, because I was just nursing this hamstring the whole last week, just kind of reintroducing workouts, trying to give a bit of a stress through it and see how it pulls up from there. So Monday I did an hour in the morning at 4:27s and then 30 minutes in the afternoon at 4:28s. Tuesday, under my physio's guidance, I did 4x1k, starting at like 3:20, and then I was meant to go 3:15, 3:10, 3:05 to put a few different paces through it to see how it responded, with the instructions to stop if it ever felt bad. So I kind of did maybe 5 or 6k warm-up, felt all good, did some strides, felt all good, and then, did the session as planned, maybe a bit quicker, a few of the splits there. Weird only doing 4x1k for a workout. I was over pretty quick. I think I jogged 90 seconds in between, got through all that, no worries at all, cooled down. That was really positive. And then the whole thing about how it pulls up later in the day, plus 24 hours, was what they really wanted to make sure it was all good. So I got out for 33 minutes in the afternoon at 4:34s, and then I was perfectly fine on the Wednesday morning. Did 80 minutes at 4:24s. Then Thursday I did, an hour and 6 minutes, 15k. Oh, that's right. Remember that fun run I was organising last year, Jono's run, half marathon, 10k, 5k. Some of the flooding impacted our course, and we've got that coming up in July, I think it is. So I have to, change some of the course around, which is a bit of a pain. So that's what I was doing on that one. Bit of an unfamiliar map for me there in Strava. Rattled me a bit. In the afternoon, Thursday was the last day of school, so I was pretty happy. You know, this time of the year, Easter holidays roll around, school holidays, Croaks, Collingwood were playing footy on Thursday night. Don't need to talk about the result because that didn't go real well. But just when you're in a good mood and just running well, Hammy was coming good.
Weather's good.
Weather's beautiful. And I know I spoke about this last year, but everyone like burns their paddocks off this time of the year. So you've just got this like smell of like smoke, but not like bushfire smoke that's going to make you cough in the air. That's a really kind of weird thing, but it's good, and it just makes me happy. So that Thursday afternoon run, I was just super grateful to be a runner and just be out there for nearly half an hour ticking the legs over. Friday morning, Good Friday, got out for 4x5 minutes. Averaged about 3:16, 3:17. This felt really good, actually. This felt just like back to normal, covering the ground well. Because I don't think I've lost a lot of fitness. So like the fitness is kind of there as well, similar pace that I'd usually kind of do this workout at. 4x5 minutes was a good one. It's not too long, off 90 seconds jog. Really positive to get this one done with no issues. Jogged again on the Friday. No, I didn't. I had Friday night off because I moved my long run to the Saturday because we were doing Easter stuff on Sunday morning, and then we had to drive to Bendigo, so I didn't have kind of time to do a long run Sunday. So I did 2 hours on Saturday morning, met up with Archie for most of it, and we went down to Parkrun. There was nearly 200 people at Parkrun, and the Patreon supporter that we thanked last week, James Telford boys, he was in town. Zach had told me he was in town and said jump down in parkrun and give him a bit of a pace. So he wanted 3:45s, went 3:43, 3:43, 3:39, 3:41, 3:40, which was good pacing for me, I thought. Didn't bank time early, Croaks. Nice and balanced early. And
every K was faster than was asked, wasn't it?
yeah, it was, but he finished off pretty strong. James went away from me. I think he came third or fourth as well in the end there. So that was good. Good way to get 5K in the middle of a long run, just for free almost. And
how many autographs do you have to sign?
Nah, no autographs. Just head down. Just went down there, got the job done. Met
What
a few.
about Archie?
Yeah, he was signing them all morning actually. He doesn't want to get there too early, so we kind of jogged around the car park so he didn't have to wait for the starting gun because he'd be signing too many autographs. So yeah, it was good to see. Met a few Patreon supporters actually. A lot of tourists in Chukamoama over the Easter weekend, so good to meet some listeners, put some faces to the name. And then, yeah, we jogged for probably, 45 minutes afterwards to get up to 2 hours. Average 4:04. Obviously, 5K is a bit quicker, brings that average down a bit. And then Sunday, 70 minutes at 4:31s, which gave me a week of 1:45. I know last week I think I said like the Sunday to the Sunday, I didn't feel like my hamstring got any better, whereas this Sunday I was like, yep, this is significantly better than what it was last week. So I'm feeling like I dodged a bullet because I heard some, I think you started telling me stories last week, Moose, and then a few people in my inbox as well, like, hey, don't take that little injury, niggle lightly because they can really cook you if you can't get on top of them. But feeling like I've got on top of it and now I can start building a bit of fitness next couple of weeks.
Still punch out 145k in an injury week.
Well, it's
I love how it goes. I don't think I've lost any fitness. It's like you run massive Ks every single week.
Well, I had a down week last week trying to sort it out and I ran 130 or something, didn't I? 128. But jogging wasn't the issue though, you know what I mean? And that's what the physio said. It's like you can jog on it, but you can't trigger it again. That's what it is. Like once you re-trigger it, like don't get in spikes and start doing sprints or hill reps, he said. Not that we have that problem here. So yeah, it's like if you can just keep managing it through, you're going to be all good.
Yeah, Bree's got the same thing right now.
Has
Some
she?
high hamstring stuff.
Real high, isn't it? Yeah. Does hers painful?
Yeah.
Yeah, so mine was never painful. It was just annoying.
Oh, yeah, annoying. It's sort of naggy, isn't it?
Yeah.
You lose all power.
Yeah, you do, yeah. And you notice it because there's a couple of times you'll just notice you're just almost kicking rocks. You're just like, oh, am I just like not getting my normal like knee lift? And yeah, it's really odd feeling. I think I said a couple of weeks ago, it feels like your brain's not talking to your leg properly.
Yeah, and you'll go to like cross a road and there's a car coming, so you have to kind of push off quickly, and and that's when you feel it the most.
Yeah. So hopefully we can continue on that trajectory next couple of weeks. Thanks to Patreon supporters, fellas. Do you want to go first, Croaks?
Yep, I got John Hullen this week. John's from Canberra. He ran 3:22 at Berlin last year and 96 minutes at the 2018 Commonwealth Games half. His best park run is 19:33, which he did at Lake Burley Griffin in 2018. Brady, we met him after the Canberra Marathon a couple of years ago. Remember that?
Yep. I've met John a couple of times since then too. He's a good fella.
Yeah, he's a massive fan of, I know, the podcast and also just running in general. And he had a really bad car accident in 2010, breaking both legs, and was told that he'd probably never run again. So, you know, some of the times that he's punched out, considering that's pretty remarkable. He's doing Chicago this year, and Brady informs me that he's a big fan of the Bendigo Bats and was at World Cross Country in a premiership T-shirt. So thanks for your support, John.
I love that. I reckon he did Berlin Marathon last year as well, and he sent me a photo of him standing under the Brandenburg Gates in the Bendigo Bats T-shirt as well, which I thought was pretty cool. I reckon he's done most of the majors. Maybe Chicago's his last one coming up.
Yeah, because I think, did he do Berlin and New York last year? Yeah, I think he did both.
Yep. Thanks for your support, John. Big fan of the show, and we appreciate that. Moose, who you got?
Peter Johansson from Romedal in Norway. So he follows Christian, so we hope that he's the right person. Look, he's from Norway. Chances are he follows our show. I reckon like 90% of the entire population in Norway listen to the show. He ran 37:49 for 10K on the track, 82 minutes at the Rekordløpet record Lepet half marathon and 2:56 at the 2022 Persalapet. Is that what those O's would line? Is that still pronounced as an O?
I'm not sure, but he did pretty well.
Yeah, I'd be keeping faking it till you're making it here because you're doing a good job.
It's like an O with a cross through it, so I'm assuming that you still say it like an O. Persalapet Marathon. Pretty sure that was his debut. Croaks reckons he's a dad, and he does a bit of dirt bike riding. That's based off his LinkedIn. Odd.
No, I was going to check his LinkedIn. So, yeah, no, that's from his Strava. But I couldn't find anything on his LinkedIn either. So, yeah, but he's pretty sure he's a dad and does dirt bike riding.
LinkedIn white collar only. So Peter's probably a brickie or something in Norway.
Thanks, Peter, for your support. I sent you that photo the other day of Christian, still the most downloaded episode. It was in the last 2 years.
It's because he listens to it every day.
Yeah.
Fresh. I'm going to thank Jack Thompson from Gaimea in suburb of Sydney, I think, Croaks. Do you know more about that?
Yep, down in the Sutherland Shire.
Okay, looks like he's a regular at the Dolls Point Park Run with a best time of 18:59. He also ran 39:25 at last year's Sydney 10 and 87 minutes at the Western Sydney Half Marathon. Based on his Strava profile picture, it looks like he has an arm full of tattoos. I love it. This also says LinkedIn here on this one as well, Moose. I think they're Croaks' little notes to remind him to try to find more information on LinkedIn.
I'll tell you the reason why, because I put that one in there just to see whether I can check, whether there's anything on LinkedIn. But sometimes I do this while I'm teaching.
Don't say that, Croaks. You're getting in trouble from your boss.
No. While I'm teaching the senior classes where they all know what to do, but every time I go into LinkedIn at school, it blocks me. So it's a little reminder there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
well, we gave you that reminder just then. Thanks to all the patrons for your support. Patreon.com/Inside Running Podcasts for more information about how you can support the show. We've got Sinead, Ellie and Nick coming up Wednesday morning for, I think, episode 8 of the Road to London Marathon. So they'll have 2 more episodes before the race and then a recap episode. And I was talking to Toby and Christian today, and we're going to record an episode next Wednesday of the monthly. So a bit to talk about there with the month in running news with those boys. So if you want to help us out, support the show. If you think it's worth a capsic in a week, join us over there on Patreon.
This week's episode of the Inside Running Podcast is proudly sponsored by ASICS. Superblast on, Superblast off with the ASICS Superblast shoe. Super bouncy FF Blast turbo cushioning on a layer of FF Blast Plus foam for a super energetic ride. Super lightweight FF Blast turbo cushioning, which is ASICS' lightest foam yet. Super stacked with ASICS' highest midsole ever, offering a standout running experience and head-turning aesthetics. Visit asics.com.au or your specialty running store to grab your pair today.
Running news, boys. I'll kick things off. Easter Monday means one thing only in Australian distance running and sprinting more than anything. Store Gift was on today. There was the 1K invitation race, which I think only had 6 or 7 people in there. All the big names though in Australian female distance running. There was Linden Hall was in there, Jess Hull was in there, Georgia Griffiths was there, Kat Bissett, the 800 metre Australian record holder, a couple of on athletes in Claudia Hollingsworth and who was the other one?
Skydie Mooring.
Yep, she was a front marker.
Morty Skyring.
Yep, that's the right way. It's a pretty cool name though, isn't it, Croaks?
Yes.
Skyring
cool
Morty.
Pretty good name. Anyway, they were all there.
Cut that, Brady.
They were all tight in the handicaps. Like I think, 20 metres might have separated the back to the front. Interesting race because you're putting 800 metre people up against 1500 metre plus, 3K, 5K if we're talking about Jess Hull. Abby Caldwell was there as well. So all the big names. They did a really good promo on the TV before the race where they showed footage of them at the Commonwealth Games and World Champs and stuff like that to kind of set the scene a bit about who all these amazing athletes were. Bizarre race. We'll put it in the show notes. If you watch the last 200 metres, Claudia Hollingsworth ended up winning. She had a handicap of 10 metres in front of Jess Hull and I think she was 8 metres in front of Linden Hall, and I think she may have went off with Kat Bissett. I'd have to check that. But she ended up winning. If you look at the tape with 200 metres to go, you wouldn't have had somebody else's money on her. She looked like she was out the back, 5-10 metres off the lead. Georgia Griffith kind of came wide and hit the front, and she looks super powerful. She won it last year. The commentators were saying how she could potentially go back-to-back. Kat Bissett was kind of coming around on the outside. Jess Hull was threatening and looked strong. And then Linden Hall was kind of second on the rail behind Georgia, and then she went to come wide to go around Georgia, which left the lane one, the rail. There's not actually a rail at Stawell, it's just a bit of spray paint on the ground. Left it wide open, and Claudia just went boom, straight up the inside, absolutely smoked all of them in the last 30 or 40 metres, ran away with it for a bit of a convincing win in the end. She ran 2:37 for the K. Off 10 metres, and the kind of first four, Jess Hull was second and Linden Hall did end up getting third, all kind of ran around that 2:37. Fascinating race to watch. Not sure if either of you boys saw it and what you thought of it, because I know you're both a massive fan of handicap racing.
Well, I didn't see it in person. I watched the last 200 only, and I watched it twice. So the first time I watched it, I didn't know who won. And then the second time I watched it, I knew who won, so I watched the winner. So I watched Claudia's throughout the last 200. And 100 to go, not a single person would pick her. She looked the least likely of the entire group to win that race. I have no idea what happened, and whether she was foxing or whether she didn't realise the race was so short, whether it was coming up on her way quicker than she realised. I'm not sure, but yeah, the acceleration that she showed it's actually quite it's promising for the future to know that she can change gears like that from out of a pack filled with gear changes. She didn't just drop the Vic Milers A grade meet on a Thursday night. She's dropped some of our best and fastest runners of all time.
Yeah, I think that's also the unique thing about handicap races is the back markers often just spend too many bickies trying to catch the front markers, and so then they get to 100 to go and they're like, oh, I'm in trouble here. Whereas, if Jess was racing all these girls off scratch, she can sort of just control the race a little bit better. But also I think for Claudia, I reckon the 1,000 metres is perfect distance for her, because she's run pretty well over 800, but she has enough strength to run well over 15. Unlike Kat Bissett, for example, she's 800 metres specialist. Any longer than that, it's going to be a lot tougher for her. It was a very interesting run. I personally thought when Jess sort of moved up with a couple of 100 metres to go, I'm like, oh yeah, she'll sort of pull away here. But I think she must have just spent a few too many bickies early on.
I think it's, trying to get on that rail as well. You can spend so much energy, constantly passing people. Tactics come into play massively there. But cool to see. I was the same as you, Moose. Apart from I watched it, I think about 6 or 7 times, watching a different person every time. Georgia Griffith goes from winning with 50 metres to go and looking like she's going to win to, I think, finishing 6th or 7th. She just, fell to pieces in that last kind of 50 metres and everyone come over the top of her. Fascinating to see all those names there. The Herb Heedeman was there as well. Our man Nitter, he was in that race. He was the front marker. Spoke about him last week as the man to beat, going in as the favourite. Didn't have a great day, Nitter from Shoe Geeks. Has been a bit sick during the week, so he was 13th in 4:17, and the race was won by Mitchell Longbourn. He ran 4:04 off a 50-metre head start for the mile. So that was a bit closer than last year, boys. There was heaps of guys coming across together. Well, handicapped this year, not so much last year.
Second year in a row that an insignificant winner. So we don't know. Is the Herb Heedeman what it used to be, or has it ever been what we make it out to be, or is it just that it's at Stawell? Because, I don't. What is a mile with 50 metres less? Is that a 4? What would you say? It's a 4:15 mile. It's a 4:10 mile.
Second, yeah. Be at least
50 metres.
Be over 4:10. Yeah.
Be at least 8 seconds, wouldn't it? 8 seconds. Yeah, I
so
think
let's
this
say
guy's
somewhere
got a
between
PB
410,
of
415.
maybe 350 or 352. I think this guy had a PB of. And I think they got to get back to getting those big names as the back markers.
Yes.
Like the Jeff Risleys or the Mottrams or who else?
Stewie.
Like a Stewie, yeah, something like that. And just really, it'd be good if you could get 3 or 4 guys who are 335 to 338 guys as the backies. And then
Give them a sniff too.
Yeah.
Give them a sniff. Don't just fucking handicap them out. And then you just see them finish in bloody 15th or something after busting their ass. Like, that's going to turn those back markers away from ever showing up.
I still struggle with the whole I don't get that excited about this whole, I don't know, stall and the handicap races and
I can't say that females race didn't excite you though, putting all those ladies in the same race as each other.
Yeah, that was it was good seeing all of them together, but it's still not an even playing field. Like, Claudia was still 10 metres in front of Jess Hull over a K.
What would you give her though if I said you're doing the handicaps?
Well,
I thought that was a good run from Claudia.
Oh, yeah, it was
10 metres on Jess Hull. I thought
it was a great run.
But why is Jess Hull off scratch? This is a 1,000-metre race.
She's the best.
Wouldn't that suit an 800 runner?
Wow,
like
that's
more
the whole
than
thing.
anybody?
Trying to bring both the worlds together.
Yeah, but it's
maybe they make it 1,100. They've run 2:37 on grass. It's a good run.
And that's the thing, and it's on grass, so times are irrelevant for this sort of thing.
Wet track too, a bit of a go track.
And we mentioned on our group chat, even the actual GIF, so the 120-metre races for the men and the women, it's always 17-year-olds winning it. And it's
it's not always. That's definitely a thing over the last 5 years.
Okay.
Yeah, and I agree with you. They've got to make it. Yeah.
Handicapping juniors, their improvement curve from 1 month to another, and they would have almost set these handicaps a month ago. Or let's say a 17-year-old competes 6 months ago and then doesn't compete again. They're obviously going to be improving a lot more than, say, somebody in their mid to late 20s.
Yeah. I don't know if teenagers need to be winning $40,000 either. It's a lot of money for people at that age to win. Did you see there was that it was Anthony Mundine's cousin. Did you see him?
Yeah.
Rugby sevens player. They had no results on him, never heard of him before, people in the commentary booth. And he come out and made the final. They interviewed him. He's like, I just watched a couple of YouTube videos. Looked good. It's good prize money.
Yeah, it was sort of, in a way, it was funny because so many people were froth Stawell.
Yeah.
And then he gets up there and goes, I'm a footy player, not a runner.
And they're like, you'll be a runner now? He's like, no, I'm staying here. And
rugby sevens, but I know there's 40 grand on the line here.
Yeah.
But I want to know, if he's never competed, how do they even handicap
That's what I thought. I'm like, if this guy comes and wins this, surely they're going to be like, oh, we got this. Yeah, wrong. Yeah.
That's just me. I just don't get that excited by it. Right.
Let's move on to some doping news, Crooks.
Yeah, I don't get excited by this either. But the reigning women's steeplechase world champion, Norah Jeruto, has been provisionally suspended for an athlete biological passport violation. And this was announced by the Athletics Integrity Unit on Friday. Now, just some other info that I have here. So, where is it? So her agent, Gianni Demadonna, told Let's Run that Jeruto was informed by the Athletics Integrity Unit in early August 2022 that she had hematocrit and hemoglobin levels in her athlete biological passport that could only have been achieved by blood doping or EPO use, and was asked to provide an explanation. But the problem is the change in this hematocrit and hemoglobin was from back in 2020. So the questions are now why did they let her compete at the World Championships when there was a spike in this back in 2020? So it seems like a bit of a weird case, but obviously, it doesn't sound good for her.
Remember everyone saying that though when all the lockdowns happened? They're just this is group chat speculation that it's the perfect time to dope. No one's going to get tested for the next couple of months because the testers aren't going to be able to do their job, get to places.
Yeah. And supposedly, like, her explanation as to why.
So they must be so high. Is that what you're saying?
Well, yeah. So basically, what she was saying that she stayed in. So she runs for Kazakhstan, but she's Kenyan born, and she reckons that she was staying in Kazakhstan for 40 to 45 days and didn't train, and it was winter, and so all of her parameters went down because she was not in altitude for 40 to 45 days, and then it went up after that, and then it was pretty much stable between like 2021, 2022, and so but I don't think it's weird that they're asking her in 2022 to explain something that's happened back in 2020. Like, why wouldn't have they like got onto it earlier, like when that spike first happened? It's odd.
It is odd. I didn't realise that. I did see a few people blowing up on Twitter though, because the tweet from the AIU was how they provisionally suspended Norah, Jeruto, and then they had in brackets Kenya/Kazakhstan for the use of prohibited substance/method. And then everyone's like, she's not Kenyan, she represents Kazakhstan. When she won a gold medal, they didn't play the Kenyan song as well. So I'm like, that was interesting.
Kazakhstan?
Yeah.
How the hell she end up in Kazakhstan?
Well, it says here on her Wikipedia page that she couldn't do the Tokyo Olympics because she was waiting for her alliance to like change.
Yeah.
No, but how does she end up in Kazakhstan?
I don't know.
Well,
they used to go to Bahrain, a lot of the Kenyan athletes too, didn't they?
Yeah, so I got a little bit of extra info here. So she ran at the Kenya Olympic trials in 2016, but only finished 10th and obviously didn't make the team. She then obviously sat out the next 3 global championships as she waited for her transfer of allegiance from Kenya to Kazakhstan to be improved. In 2021, she was clearly the best steeplechaser in the world, as she was undefeated in the steeple and won the Diamond League title, but she had to sit out the Olympics. And then she got cleared to compete for Kazakhstan in January 2022. And like, so she's the 3rd fastest female of all time. Ran like 9:01 in the heats at
that was her,
last year's world champs. Yeah. So anyway, but yeah, so she has to try and now. She needs to explain why her readings went up. Yeah, in 2020, and she was trying to claim that it was because she wasn't training. Yeah, wasn't at altitude for like 45 days or something.
But they've said you can't get to these levels, can you? That's what they pretty much opened the statement with.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter if you've been, sedentary for X amount of days and then go to altitude, you're still not going to get it to that level.
Yeah, so I don't think we'll be hearing much more about her.
Interesting. Any more news? That's about it for the week, isn't it?
That's about it.
Light week of running news. Let's do the ASICS Superblast review, boys. Bit of hype around this shoe. It's been talked about a bit in running circles the last, I'm going to say months, Moose. Feels like there was hype built around it and then maybe only sponsored athletes were in it and then it's kind of appeared. Am I right in saying that?
I think they got it out to some influencers early.
Oh, I meant like the runners, like Izzy Bat Doyle and people like that. And
I think they probably got them. But then the other influencers did end up with them because I remember talking to the ASICS rep going, are we ever going to get these? Like, is this planned to be sold? And it's like, yeah, I think so, eventually. But then it was probably like months before the stores actually got them. So yeah, they did hit pretty early.
So what about the naming? Because is it Nova Blast is the only other ASICS shoe? So is it like an up model from that?
They have their Dynablast as well.
Okay.
So there's all different like the Blast is like a series, I guess. The Nova Blast is a solid option. Like I ran in the first version of that. It's pretty fun. This one to me doesn't quite like. I don't feel like it's that similar. It only has a tiny amount of that blast foam. It's the majority of the foam they use is the Flight Foam Turbo, which is what they use in their Metaspeed race shoes. So it feels like a little bit of a different lineage to the Nova Blast.
Yeah, I agree. I've worn the Nova Blast in the past, and this, doesn't feel like it's related at all. But I was just wondering with the naming there if it had anything to do with it. Who's it? Well, where does it sit? Like, is it because I wore it for that park run, and I was surprised how responsive it was when we went from running 410s down to like 345s.
Well, that's the thing, is that people can sit it where they want to sit it.
Yeah, okay.
So how I sit it within the range of what I use my shoes for, this is not a shoe that I would use to do a workout in or a tempo run. So some people might use this, as you've used it, as a crossover shoe. So a shoe that you could do tempos in and do strides in, and then do a really easy recovery run as well. Whereas for me, this is just an easy day / long day shoe. I think that the volume of foam in it, because it is like 48 mil or something high, which is massive, or it's 46 mil, high. That's a lot of shoe underfoot, and I don't want that much shoe when I'm picking the pace up. I like to run with firmer foam, not firmer foam. I like to run with a bit less foam, and I like a plate in the shoe. This isn't plated, so it's still relatively stiff. Like, it's got that through the geometry of the midsole, but it doesn't have a plate, so I don't feel like it's that poppy to me. I feel like it's a really nice jogging shoe. I feel like this is what the Invincible probably wants to be. The major difference between those two is this is designed to be light, so it's only 240 grams, but the Invincible is quite heavy. So this one you pick up and you're like, oh, there's nothing to it, which gives you the impression that it's good at faster paces versus the Invincible, which is a high stack slab of their PBA foam, but it just doesn't feel anywhere near as like fun to run in as this does.
Yeah, for me in April, this is jogging shoe of the year. Like, I think it's the one you go out and put on and you're like, this is going to be fun for the next 60, 70 minute recovery run, whatever you've got. Even, I put it on, for me to put it on for a long run, kind of second run out of the box is a big tick for me, because I'm pretty precious with what shoes I wear on long runs. Like, I like to not take many risks on that, but I knew this was good after just jogging in at a couple of 30-minute runs last week, and then could be trusted to go on the legs for the long run straight out of the box pretty much. And just, I like the softness, I like the responsiveness. Do you think it fits a bit big, or is the toe box like a bit bigger cut or something like that? That's
compared to the Nimbus. Did you get a Nimbus 25?
No.
Okay, so
but I've got ASICS, Nova Blast, Glide Ride, and Keanu. Light or whatever it is. Yep. So but this one seemed a bit bigger in the toe box.
Yeah, so I went up to a 12 in the Nimbus 25, but the 12 in the Super Flask gives me quite a bit more space, maybe a little too much. But yeah, so the general consensus is it's a generous fit.
Yeah, okay.
Most people will stay true to size in this shoe, and it will just be generous. Some people potentially size a half down on this. Yeah.
I don't think I'd have to go another or half size down, but I just noticed there was a bit more room to move in the front of the foot there. It's a good looking shoe. It's just fun. As I said, for me in April, this is my jogging shoe of the year, and something that I was excited about receiving. Looked to purchase it before I knew we were even going to get it. Big ticks for me on the Superblast. Croaks?
Yeah, so I've worn it 3 times. So for 2 1-hour runs and a double on Saturday afternoon. But this will turn into my midweek long run shoe or long run shoe. So I love like the stiffness to it, and like that rocker. Like, I really seem to respond well to shoes that have a bit of a rocker. But because it's lightweight and because there's that foam, I feel like I can get rolling pretty well in it. And just the amount of cushion, like, I don't feel like I'm getting beat up at all. So, this will be a long run shoe for me.
What
moving
colour
forward.
did you guys get?
Off-white.
Whole thing's off-white?
Yeah. Is that what it's called? Off-white, I guess? Yeah.
It's like beige. Beige.
Yeah.
I got the fluoro yellow, which is nice. Yeah, head turning.
I got a pair of them.
Fairly bright when you look down at the feet there.
That's what I've been doing all my miles in, actually, the fluoro yellow. So I haven't broken the cream, or they call it cream / mineral beige. That hasn't That hasn't got out yet. I've actually got 3 pairs of these.
Ooh.
So they're all lined up, and they're going to take me through to basically Berlin, I reckon, because they're very hard to get. So I knew there was a real shortage of them, and so I'm going to get the one that came into our store, then I'm going to buy another one from another store, and then this one came. So I'm
Did you only get one in your store at your size?
Oh yeah, mate. We only got like 8 pairs total. And,
really?
And I reckon we've sold 7 of them.
So if I'm saying it's my shoe of the year, I probably should buy a pair.
Yeah. You want to be getting a pair of these.
When we get off air, ASAP.
This is like the old school Vaporfly drops where they come and they go.
So why though? Why is that? Is it because they can't get the foam, or like what's the
Australia
weight?
Australia only gets allocated a certain number of pairs. So the region, I guess, isn't high demand. So we get however many pairs, which is a percentage of the total produced worldwide. And those pairs then have to get split across all the different stores and across the online store as well. So by the time you sort of split it all up, there's very few left.
Yeah, you're right. I'm just on a website now, and there's not many left.
Moose, have you done most of your running on the right? So most of my running, actually all of my running in this shoe so far has been on gravel. How does it, what's the difference for you in feel between running on the road and gravel?
Because it is lacking some outer sole, isn't it? So it's like exposed foam. So I'm seeing a little bit of damage to the foam running on the gravel, because most of this is on gravel. That's just what I do. I just don't have any hard roads I need to spend time on. It also collects a few rocks because the foam's so soft that the rocks just collect because it just warps around them.
A lot of ASICS shoes do that though, don't you reckon? Glide ride's the same thing.
Yeah, big cavity in the glide ride.
Yep.
But yeah, no, it's been fine so far on dirt. I think it could handle concrete pretty well, but I mean, I can't comment on it because I just don't do anything.
I've done both road croaks.
You get a bit more pop on the road?
Yeah. It's like when you got a super shoe on the trail and then you go to a road. You just get, not a lot, but you're just like, oh yeah, there's a bit more responsiveness there. Yeah. It's a good shoe, ladies and gents. Check it out. ASICS Superblast.
Yeah, it is. I think it's one of my favourite jogging shoes. I wouldn't have 3 if I didn't love it. And I can't even sell them in the store. So it's rare that I'd pump a shoe up this much that I can't sell.
Very good. Massive thanks to ASICS for their support of the Inside Running podcast. Listen to question, Croaks.
Yeah, it's actually a good one given that Canberra Marathon's this weekend, Boston's coming up, and also Rotterdam. And so the question is, for context, I've upped my training in the past couple of years and got some half-decent times for age. According to the calculators, based on a 10K of 33 and half of 75, it predicts 235 to 237. But the only marathon I've done was 9 years ago where I ran 3 hours 50, planning to conservatively aim for 239 high to qualify for a championship to start next year at London. But my question is, do you have any advice on warning signs in the early stages that suggest you should back off? Do you use heart rate or perceived effort at key distances and then have a B target, say 245? Cheers, Nick Peterson.
Here's a good question, isn't it, from Nick?
Well, it is a good question in terms of we always say, you want to feel comfortable through 30K, but what are the telltale signs that you're going a little bit, too hard? And the problem is early on, a little bit too hard still feels comfortable enough, but then you get to 30 to 35K and that little bit too hard in the first 20K then comes back to bite you in the arse. So, yeah, it is a good question.
Yeah, and you're right about the whole perceived effort. I think it's very hard to, because it should feel easy. When he says early stages, do you just want to put a number on that? Should we say the first half?
Yeah, I reckon first half.
First half.
Well, first half to 25, maybe first 25K.
Okay, first 25K. Your perceived effort's going to be hopefully pretty good. A lot of people aren't going to run a marathon at heart rate though, are they? Which wouldn't be a bad thing to do, especially if it's like a weather situation going on. So I guess it's if I was Nick, I would go out at that, whatever the calculator says here 2:35 to 37. I'd nearly add another 2 minutes to that. Go out at 2:39, maybe go 2:40 pace, and then just see what messages your body's giving you, knowing that it should feel super, super, super easy, but knowing that the easy feeling at 20, 25 is not going to be the same feeling you're going to have at 30, 35, 40. But it's much better to get to those 30, 35, 40 feeling like it was easy through that middle section than hard then.
Yeah.
But I don't know if there's a black or white. What do you do, Moose?
Well, you mean if, like, I had an athlete like this?
Well, even like, because like aerobically, you're not going to get any signs aerobically that you've got it wrong.
Well, you might. And
well, if you do, you're in big trouble, yeah.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, it should feel, like the cue that I would give is that the brakes are always on. Like, you're basically driving with brakes on, knowing that at any time you could be running considerably faster than what you're running at that particular time early. And if any time, say you go past the 10K mark and you're like, could I go faster than this comfortably right now? If the answer is no, then you're running too fast. So, and then if you get to halfway and think, could I run faster right now? And if the answer's still, if the answer's maybe a little bit, you're probably running too fast. So I think for the first 30K, if you can't comfortably increase the pace, then you're running too fast.
I remember Dick Telford used to say to a lot of his marathoners, like, in that first 30K, like, your breathing, it should be like basically a light puff. Like, you know, your breathing should be well in control. And another sign for me that I've got my pacing right is for the first 25, 30K, you can actually take in a lot around you, what's happening. Like, yes, you want to switch off, but, you know, if you see somebody on the side, like, it's no issue to go, oh, hey, or like I remember early on in Biwa, like when I was getting rid of my bottles, I would like aim for bins and stuff like that, where, you know, you're still really so controlled that you can play around with that sort of stuff. So that's also another sign that you're in the right zone where you can, you know, take in the surrounds and, you know, say hi to people and, you know, always feel super comfortable.
You know, don't you? If you're in a pack and you're looking around and there's people that are also kind of looking around and they're almost like feel like they want to have a convo with you in the pack, you know they're comfortable. And there's some that are just so almost like focusing on the pace and it's kind of like, oh, I don't really want to talk right now. Like, this is a bit hard. They're probably the ones that are going at that little bit too hard where you just cannot afford that in the marathon.
And also I think the problem with people stepping up is, you know, the intensity required for 5K, 10K, like you're always working pretty hard from early on in the race. So you almost have to forget that mentality of, hey, if I'm not working hard, I'm leaving time out there, because it should feel significantly easier than any other shorter race that you've done. Like I got a guy running Canberra this year. Like, he was a pretty good triathlete and, runs like sub 16 minutes for 5K and ran 73 minutes for the half recently. But his goal is just to get one on the board. And so, you know, he initially wanted to run like sub 245. I'm like, well, that's probably a little bit too conservative if you've run 73 minutes. But let's just go out at 240 pace and then kick down the second half, which even that is, you know, conservative. But it's better to be conservative on your first one, or if you're inexperienced and have a good day, and then bite off a bit more in your second and third marathon.
Doesn't even have to kick down the second half. You kick down from 30K onwards. Yeah. So you're almost saying like the first 20 to 25 should be boring almost. Like, you're not focusing on racing. You're just focusing on just staying there and getting it ticked off for as low as energy expenditure as possible. Yeah.
Enjoy it, taking this around, focus more on hitting your nutrition. So, like, you know, while you're still with it, go, okay, you know, look down at your watch, got, you know, however many minutes till your next gel. But in terms of effort, it's, pretty.
See you, Craigs.
Jeez, everyone's cutting out tonight.
Yeah.
Must be
Yeah,
raining.
be on the couch till 30k. Just be watching what's going on around you, and then at 30k, step up and hit the race.
Do you use that what's the old saying? 20 miles is halfway.
Yeah, I've been thinking about that more recently. I'm like, people get carried away though. They hit 30k and then all of a sudden they feel like they're allowed to just go on a tear. But it's a long way, 12k, especially after 30k of like pretty steady running. And so I've considered just changing it to be like, all right, 34k is the new number where you're allowed to start and pushing. Because 34k, like 5k down the track, you're close enough where you're sensing home. Whereas at 30k, you go hard 5k, you've still got a big lap at Lake Wendouree plus a bit extra to get through. And that can... So I think we use like this number 30 as if it's some special number, but it isn't. And I reckon if you're hurting a little too much and you see that 30 and you think, oh, this is the spot where I'm supposed to start going, it's a bit of a trap.
What's the earliest you've been in trouble in a marathon, K-wise?
Yeah, that's good. Probably at a
pre-30?
Osaka.
Yeah.
Let me think about that. I remember at 10 mile when you were pacing me, I was feeling it. Remember that at Melbourne?
Yeah, well, you still got to 21 though on pace.
Yeah, I know, but that's it. I can get to 21 on pace, but it doesn't mean shit.
No,
because
I probably more meant from the question, like, what point did you think like the race is over now?
Well, I actually
you still were
thought
running
about it
pretty well for like the next 5 or 6k at least.
No, but I
really?
knew then. I'm like, this isn't happening today. This isn't.
That's early, yeah.
It's really early, and you think I'll get to halfway at this pace, and at that point I'm like, well, I might as well try because I'm fucking 10 miles in. So let's just go to that pace. I mean, I got a pacer here. You're helping me, and then I'm like, all right, I'm kind of fucked after there. I knew I was at 10 miles. Because if it's hurting like it was then, if I was reaching for pace at 10 miles, I knew that was not sustainable for the day. And I was reaching for pace that day. It wasn't coming like effortlessly, and I didn't have the brakes on at all. So
and it wasn't just a bad patch, it was like, this is it now.
Nah, it wasn't like, oh, my tummy's upset or I'm whatever. It was like, this is feeling fast. Like the pace mechanically feels difficult to get to. I feel like my heart rate's up, like my respiration is high. These are all signs that the pace is too hard for what marathon effort is.
What'd you run, 2:28?
2:27, I reckon.
Okay.
I reckon heavy legs is another indication too. Heavy legs earlier than you expect means that you're pushing a bit too hard. Like I had that in my debut. Like I went through 71:30 or something through halfway, and I was splitting every 5k, and I got to like 25k, and I looked down at my GPS for the next, a kilometre into that next 5k, and it was significantly slower than what I'd been running, and I thought, gee, there's something wrong with the satellite. and then it just, like, I didn't blow up, but I just, that was then the pace for the rest of the run, like going from running like low 320s to more like 330s or 335s, thinking initially it was just dodgy GPS, but it was my legs were just cooked, and I'd obviously gone too hard too early.
That's just the thing, isn't it? Same effort is just pulling you. It's like your legs don't go like high enough anymore.
Yeah, but on the flip side, I've also had marathons where maybe from a pace perspective, I have not gone out too hard, but I've felt like absolute garbage for the first 15k. And even when I ran 2:17, that day, the first 10 to 15k was the worst I felt in terms of, not from a pace point of view, but it just didn't feel like I was, and sometimes it's like to do with the carb load. Sometimes you can feel a bit sluggish. But then you also don't want to get too negative if it feels harder than it should, even if you are in the correct pace range. You know what I'm saying there?
Yeah. Good luck, Nick. Let us know how you go. Be interesting to hear your recap of it. Good question, good discussion. Moose on the loose?
Just a quick one. It's people that push the pace throughout like a week, and then as soon as they get to a point where they're not feeling great, like on any run, when someone else might be feeling better, they just have the biggest tantrum ever, and they crack the shits, and it's like, it's too fucking fast. Why are we pushing on this? It's supposed to be an easy day, rah rah rah. Yet they've just spent like the last week to 2 weeks half-stepping everybody. And as soon as it's not going their way, that's when they put their foot down and they go into like tantrum town.
Anyone in particular, Moose?
Oh, well, everyone knows who it is. Had a real fucking tantrum, didn't she, Ali, on, what was it, Saturday when we ran with Hugh Lacey pushing the pace up a hill. All of a sudden, fucking Ali you hear her like from about 2 steps back just yelling at Hugh. Why are we running so fast? Fucking easy day. Rah, you don't have a workout tomorrow, blah, blah. All just like lose the plot. And I made a few little jokes and just nothing afterwards. Just like so grumpy.
Love it.
Yeah. You would have run into a few of them.
Yeah. It's always funny when I've heard people talk about it heaps. You know how people name their runs? And then, like, it's the same thing, like feeling good when people get rolling, but then when they're not rolling too good, it's just like RG, or it's like, or when they're running with someone way slower than them, they always put their name in the title. It's like easy run with Scott or whatever, because it's at Scott's pace.
Scott's a real slow fucker.
Yeah. It would have went quicker if it wasn't for Scott.
Yeah. Oh, that's a good one. There's a good meme on that somewhere, I reckon.
Yeah, it's floated around. It's definitely not my idea. I'm not trying to claim it. I've seen it, stolen it, and said it here.
There is a brilliant Instagram account out there. I think it's called Your Boy Scott Jurek. And Scott Jurek's this old school ultra runner who won like a bunch of Western States 100-mile races.
Yeah, I've got his book, I reckon.
Yeah, he does eating and that. He's vegan. Yeah. It is the funniest. It's the best Instagram account I'm following right now. It's really, really clever. And
what is it? Your boy Scott Jurek?
Yeah, your boy, like YA.
Oh, that's why it's not coming up.
Boy Scott Jurek.
Oh yeah.
So he's only following one person, Scott Jurek, and they have like 25,000 followers. And there's just do yourself a favor. And then just spend like a good couple of hours through all these.
We'll do. Looking forward to that. What's coming up, fellas? Canberra Marathon. Croaks is Christmas this weekend. Bradley, got athletes running. Is Viv racing?
No. She'll come down with the kids and maybe hand out a few bottles.
You doing any pacing? No,
I'm just going to be on the sidelines handing out bottles to athletes I coach. It's sort of I can get to like 10K, 22K and 33K like pretty easily.
Hectic morning for you though.
Yeah, it's good fun though.
No long run?
I'll do my long run Saturday.
Yeah. Moose wasn't happy when I moved mine Saturday because I wasn't religious.
Well, yeah. Talk us through that.
Well, I just moved it because I wanted to be there to see my children after the Easter Bunny had came, and I had to get to Bendigo. So it was like I'm happy to get up early and do a long run, but then I would have missed them waking up early and seeing their Easter eggs.
Did you explain the story when they say, "Oh, why are we getting Easter eggs today?"
Hudson did ask me. He goes, "Why does the Easter Bunny come?" And I'm like, "Okay, so there was this man called Jesus."
Was there?
Yeah. Well, then I stopped the story. I'm like, "You're only 3?" I just said, "Because you're a good boy." And then he woke up at 5:05. And for Carly, she did the footsteps, the Easter Bunny footsteps and stuff like that, which was pretty cool, and had all these eggs hidden. So it was a good moment to see him with a smile on his face. I'm glad I moved my long run.
So Roosters,
did Pia get any?
Pia got some Easter eggs, yeah.
Okay, yeah, I was wondering.
Don't eat chocolate though. Doesn't like it. Just shakes her head. I said,
Really?
"Oh, have some." Just shakes her head. It's like, "Nah, I don't want any." All right.
That's great.
Good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Don't mind.
Having coaching duties on a Sunday morning, Moose, does that give me a leave pass for a Saturday long run?
Well, what do your duties entail?
Well, moving around the course, handing out drinks, and so then you're up at like 5 o'clock, and then
Yeah,
by the
that
time it
does,
all finishes,
actually.
you're pretty knackered, and then you got to go and do a long run like middle of the day or that afternoon.
I'll pay that.
Thanks.
I'll pay that more than Easter.
Oh, well, it's not Easter, it's family time.
Well, it's Easter, isn't it?
Family time to celebrate Easter.
If you had some integrity, you would stick to your values because you're not a religious. So
But are you saying don't celebrate Easter at all? Not give any chocolate to my children.
Well, yeah. You don't see Muslim people don't go and do Easter egg hunts, do they?
Yeah, but Moose, in 3 years' time, assuming we're still on air, you'll get on here and go, oh yeah, on the Sunday we had an Easter egg hunt for PR.
Yeah, I should have seen how happy she was. I'm glad I moved my long run.
Yeah, she won the Easter colouring competition at school.
Yeah. And then he'll start banging on Croaks.
With Hudson? Bit of Ramadan?
Croaks, then he'll start banging on about how he's discovered heart rate training and he's got his heart rate monitor back out. And
well, he already does it. One
after
week
ditching
he's telling
that
you,
2 weeks earlier.
1 week he's telling you you're running your long runs too hard, and then the next week it's like, oh, look at Derek Clayton. He's a legend. He ran hard every single day, 3 times a day.
Yeah.
Hutto with Hanukkah. And we're going to move on. We're going to move on to every religious holiday that you don't celebrate, but you pick Easter for some reason that I'm not quite sure of.
The chocolate.
Chocolate. It's a good celebration. Rotterdam's also coming up. And Boston Marathon next Monday. Monday their time, isn't it? They have a public holiday.
Yep, so we won't report on Boston next week. It'll be the week after.
Should we do the podcast on Tuesday night next week?
Yeah, we could do that.
Let's do that. Turn our phones off. Watch it Tuesday morning without any spoilers.
Who's there?
Kipchoge.
No. Who's there from Australia?
Oh, no one. Jess Stenson was going to be.
Oh, why do we care then?
Oh, it's still a good race, Boston.
Yeah, I know, but it doesn't shape our podcast.
Oh, it's still good something to talk about. Well, it's not a lot of content this time of the year, Moose.
A bit more running news. Did you boys see the hoo-ha about Mo Farah running a 31:40 10K?
Nah, 30:40.
30:40, sorry.
Yeah.
Well, may as well have been 31:40.
That's
really.
right, yeah. He looked like he was moving all right too. I watched the video. It looks like he's running 28 pace.
Like, surely that must have been just like a workout or something.
Didn't look good. Like, he's moving all right, but he was working.
Marathon pace, you reckon?
No. He looked fine. He looked like he used to look, but then you see the finish line time and you're like, oh boy, he wasn't moving very fast.
It's bizarre. Like, I can't imagine him being like running that slow. Like,
imagine him just rocking up to the Launceston 10K and coming like 19th.
Yeah, I wonder if he went out with him. Like, I wonder if it was just a massive blow up. Or it didn't look like that though. It
was one in 28:11.
Yeah, I know. So
he's 40 been training in Ethiopia.
Yeah, I don't get it.
Hasn't been himself for a while though, has he? Because remember he missed qualifying for the Olympics.
But like, why would you even, like, if you're in that shape, why would you even step on a start line coming from where he's been? Like,
well, he's had a few last races, hasn't he?
Money.
He doesn't need money, surely.
But the people that don't need money are the ones that love it the most. That's just human nature. Surely we've learned that by now.
Oh, I guess proof will be in the pudding, won't it? A few weeks.
2 weeks' time. Ali might beat him, Moose.
Oh, the women go off together.
Oh, yeah, they do. Go for a different time.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, fellas. That's episode number 280. Was it 84? 85?
Yep.
83? 84. Have a good week. We'll do it all again next week.
See you, boys.
See you, boys. Special thanks to ASICS for sponsoring this week's episode of the Inside Running Podcast. The Superblast shoe adds another super running companion to your ASICS lineup. Generous, lightweight cushioning underfoot minimises the impact of repeat training on the body, making it ideal for longer runs, faster attempts and recovery training. Visit asics.com.au to get your pair today.